Four terms. When there are four terms, you can think about greatest common factors of 2 at a time. So instead of looking for something that all four can be divided by, you can look at the first two, a greatest common factor, separate from the second two. So I'm going to focus all of my attention just on these first two terms, and I'm going to identify what they have in common, a greatest common factor. They both have 2. They both have x. So we're going to reduce that first 2. We're going to divide out a 2x. So if I pull a 2 out of this term and 1x out of this term, all I have left is x. Now there is a 2x here. The greatest common factor is 2x. So now the only thing I have left remaining in that spot is a 1. It's reverse distribution. So you understand distribution. Like if I was to distribute in, I would get 2x squared plus 2x. So greatest common factor is reverse distribution. You see it, Kaden?
Oh, yes.
So what can we pull out of these two?
Then we can pull out 3x plus 1.
So I'm going to take the 3 away from both of them. And what's left in parentheses is x plus 1.
Oh, okay, I see it now. So it's not 3x, it's just
the third.
if
there's no x.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah. Please don't do that, Noah. No, it's done. Put it up here. You're not holding that anymore. Put it up.
He's like pointing at the computer against it.
Okay. So, Kaden pointed out something that we didn't really point out yesterday. In the first two here, the GCF had an X, whereas the second two, it only has a number. Since this last term is a constant, it doesn't have an X. The GCF didn't have an X with it. So we were able to divide out a 2x out of the first group, and out of the second group, we could only take 3. So everybody see that. Now, it's really important that these parentheses match. There's 2 sets of x plus 1s. So I'm going to group together the 2x and the 3. And I'm going to keep the x plus 1. This is the final answer. If we were to now multiply that, if I wanted to check it, I could do the box or the window method and check it. Maybe I should require you guys to check it. Let's do number 2, check it. I'll do it on the board. So I do this box. And I'm going to put 2x here, 3 here, x here, and 1 here. If you multiply it back out, you'll get what you started, as long as it's factored correctly. Are we doing something on big ideas? 2x squared, 2x, 3x, 3. When I write it out, 2x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 3.
And that's what you guys did yesterday?
Yesterday we just did this. We didn't check any of them. We did that. But it's nice that you can check it, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can check it. In the box method, you get what you started with. Actually, I'm sorry. 2 people need to run out. So Karma, you can go. When Karma gets back, Genevieve has to go somewhere, and then we can start the back. I know. I'm sorry. Karma really has to go. Genevieve has somewhere she has to go. One person out of the time.
What?
All right, you guys have another handout. Yesterday was a handout.
So do I?
Yeah, I'll get that for you.
Yeah.
I think this is
Up there. How do you get up there? No, the only person today whose name was up there was ours. She doesn't normally do that. Deal was definitely in here.
Yes, for sure.
Dharma won't have to go. She's already out.
that's a little
No, you have to wait. So. One person out at a time.
My fault. I thought they were just.
It said it ended yesterday. That big idea should still be open.
right. That's what I'm saying. March class is first. She was just she said that.
All right, go ahead and read through the example on the handout.
One.
No, do you want the handout from yesterday? Whoa.
I think someone spilled water on my brush. I'm going to cry anymore, bro. Bro. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I can't even say it without laughing anymore.
Not. This method is important to know when the leading coefficient is not 1. So typically, it's ax squared plus bx plus c. We got a, b, c. This entire handout, a is not 1. A is something more than 1. Okay, now the reason we were factoring by grouping yesterday is because factor by grouping is a middle step to this whole process. So we're going to combine factoring trinomials and factor by grouping in these problems today. So if you remember before, we watched a video and we made a table to find factors that will multiply to the last number and add to the middle number. We're combining that with the grouping method from yesterday. Yes.
I need today's handout.
Okay. Does anybody else need today's handout? All right, so let's go ahead and list A, B, and C. A is 7, B is 29, C is 4. You have to find the product of A times C. So if I'm doing A times C, that would be 7 times 4, which is 28. So now I need to find numbers that will multiply to 28 and add to 29. What type of numbers multiply to 28? Well, there's 1 times 28, there's 4 times 7, and there's 2 times 14. 1 and 28 will add to 29. So of all the options, we're going to pick 1 and 28. Now this is what's different. Before, when we found the numbers, we wrote it in parentheses and we were done with the problem. This problem is the longest, most complicated type of problem to factor. We're going to take the numbers that we just picked and we're going to put them in the middle of the original problem. So the original problem is 7x squared plus 29x plus 4. I'm rewriting that problem as 7x squared plus 1x plus 28x plus 4. So we are changing the middle. We switched the 29. We totally switched it out for 1 and 28. Have we changed the expression at all? No. 1 and 28 make 29. So we haven't changed it numerically. We're just rewriting it. The reason we're rewriting it is because now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. We can do that grouping method. So now you look at 2 at a time and you take a GCF out. Factor by grouping. So the GCF between 7x squared and 1x is x. And what's left behind is 7x plus 1. What's the GCF of 28 and 4? They both divide by 4. And what would be left is 7x plus 1. So I see the same thing I saw yesterday, that the parentheses match. So now to finish the problem, I put x plus 4 together. And I keep one of the 7x plus 1s, box it, that's factored. I could check it now by using this box method and do x plus 4, 7x plus 1. If I did that, I would get the problem we started with. So that's the most difficult type of factoring right there. It's even in Algebra 2. That's very challenging for Algebra 2 students as well. So we're going to flip it over and continue. Hopefully with practice, you'll get the hang of it a little bit.
Bro, that's jump back.
Does anybody have a question about any of the numbers in the first example? Nathan, what do you think? You got a question about any of the numbers here?
I did. Go ahead,
All right, Genevieve, you're up. Yeah, it's right there. All right, I'm ready. Are you guys ready? All right, the very first skill is just figuring out what A, B, and C are. It's ax squared plus bx plus c. So I can go ahead and say A is 5, B is 13, and C is 6. Step 1, do A times C. So that's 5 times 6, which is 30. I need to find numbers, and if you guys think of them, just keep it quiet so everyone has a chance to try to come up with them. We need to find numbers that multiply to 30, and the same numbers have to add to 13. So when I try to make a list, I think of everything. So I start with 1. There's 1 times 30. There's 2 times 15. Someone found it. Kaden, you know? Oh, Ariana. There's a 3 times 10, 5 times 6. All of these numbers would multiply to 30. Thank you. So I'm going to add these up, see which ones add to be 13. It's not 1 and 30. It's not 2 and 15.
Okay.
It's 3 and 10. 3 and 10 are the numbers that work. They multiply to 30 and add to 13. This is new. You're going to put the numbers in the middle of the original problem. So the original problem was 5x squared plus 13x plus 6. The new problem is going to be 5x squared plus 3x plus 10x plus 6. I kind of want to switch the 3 and the 10. It doesn't matter what order you put them in. Does anybody else want to switch the 3 and the 10? I better not do it if you don't see it. So instead of 13, I got 3 and 10 in there. That's equivalent. Now I will do the grouping method. I will GCF the first two, GCF the second two.
Ma'am, please don't swamp this.
Yeah, you want that? I really want that.
Like the
Or we could put the 10 first. It'll work out the same way if you put the 10 first and then the 3 second. So I'll do both. You guys can pick how you want to do it. I'll do both. You can put the 10 and the 3 in either order. The 10 first or the 3 first. In the first way, the GCF is x, and you have 5x plus 3. The GCF is 2, and you have 5x plus 3. And then your answer is x plus 2, 5x plus 3. In the other way, your GCF is 5x. Your GCF is 3. You get to pick which way you want to go. You don't have to do both. Herman, do you have the handout? Do you have the handout, Herman? Oh, yeah. You got it. Okay. What'd you say now?
I can pick green or blue.
Green or blue? Yeah, you don't have to write both. No, would you write green or blue?
What?
What? Logan, would you write green or blue?
Green.
You write it. Jessica, what did you write, green or blue? Green. What about you, Nevaeh? Blue. Blue. All right, you guys go ahead and start the next one on your own. I gotta fix your big ideas.